Calaroga Shark Media.
Hello and welcome to Palace Intrigue. I am your host, Mark Francis. Kensington Palace released a statement which reads, "The Princess of Wales has returned home to Windsor to continue her recovery from surgery. She is making good progress. The Prince and Princess wish to say a huge thank you to the entire team at the London clinic, especially the dedicated nursing staff for the care they have provided. The Wales family continues to be grateful for the well wishes they have received from around the world. Kate's hiatus from royal engagements is anticipated to extend at least until the post-Easter period. This year, the Easter weekend, which includes Good Friday, Easter Sunday, Easter Monday, spans from March 29th to April 1st. Consequently, it's probable that the public won't see Kate in any official capacity until April or later. A statement from the palace affirmed, based on the current medical advice, she is unlikely to return to public duties until after Easter. This raises questions about whether Kate will be absent from the royal family's traditional Easter Sunday service, an event typically marked in the royal calendar. Royal commentator Diana also writes in the news.co.au, Kate really botched her handling of her hospital stay, pointing out that there could have been umpteen reasons for the hospital visit, but that she could have used it as an opportunity to raise awareness of what was wrong, as Charles did, and make the world just a smidgen better for citizenry. She adds, no one who is not in the Middleton family chat knows exactly what is troubling the mother of three, and I can't help but think that the princess has wasted an enormous opportunity here. Kate could possibly have made a huge difference this month, and she has chosen not to. Monarchy in the 20th and 21st centuries is an awkward, maladroit thing. Modernity not exactly rubbing along naturally with a feudal, inherited system of extreme privilege and wealth. Somehow, though, without anyone ever explicitly agreeing to it or signing on a detail line, an unspoken contract was worked out. The royal family would use their exalted titles and positions to try and make the world just a smidgen better for citizenry and not go about gloating in one of their gold carriages. This is the tacit trade that was made. The Crown and Company get to keep the palaces, the country estates by the dozen, the tens of thousands of acres of land, and the world's largest collection of Da Vinci sketches. And in return, they would spend most afternoons plugging away at doing their bit for homelessness or diabetes or donkey rescue charities. Thus, when the king instructed his private secretary to tell the world about his enlarged nether region, he was upholding his end of the deal, putting himself in a position that he probably wouldn't have fancied, like Benign dispatched off by his office to open a biscuit factory in Cumberland. I just wish Kate had done the same thing. Meanwhile, King Charles is expected to pause his royal duties for up to a month following his recent surgery for an enlarged prostate. The operation, which was successful, took place at the London clinic, the same hospital where Kate underwent her abdominal surgery. Charles stayed at the hospital longer than originally expected. A source told The Sun the extra stay is entirely precautionary, but has nevertheless reportedly caused some unease. It's now expected Charles will have to avoid public jobs for at least a month on medical advice. But knowing the king, he will try to keep some private audiences and insist on keeping on top of his paperwork. In the Express, Emily Ferguson suggests that the king's long stay is actually good news because he's a workaholic. She writes, while the news has sparked concern among some circles, I think the extra night will prove to be a blessing in disguise. This is because Charles is known as a workaholic, and sources indicated last week that he has asked aides to deliver paperwork to his hospital bed to ensure he keeps abreast of his stately duties over the weekend. In a departure from royal norms, Queen Camilla accompanied her husband to the hospital, a move considered atypical for the royal family. Usually members like the late Queen and Prince Philip attended hospital visits independently. ITV's royal editor Chris Shipp remarked on this unusual royal behaviour, stating, Queen Camilla has gone into the hospital with King Charles. While normal for many families, it's quite rare for the royal family members to join their spouses in such instances. The public's response to the King's diagnosis was immediate, with NHS England observing a significant surge in online traffic to their enlarged prostate information page, experiencing a visit every 5 seconds on the day the diagnosis was announced. The concept of a slimmed-down monarchy under King Charles has been critically labelled as a skeleton staff by a royal commentator. During an episode of Royally Obsessed, journalist and presenter Afua Hagen commented, I think the king needs to be careful when he goes for a slimmed-down monarchy because we are literally on skeleton staff, right? The phrase "can't get a staff" applies to this particular firm because you've got your 4 top execs, the top 4 who are in charge, as it were. 3 of them are out of action, and that leaves Queen Camilla to carry the burden. We've seen Camilla at a couple of royal engagements. When she's asked about the king, she's like, yeah, he's doing fine, but then you're going to see the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh out on manoeuvres, possibly Princess Beatrice and Eugenie. Additionally, Hagan shared concerns regarding the Waleses, seen as the monarchy's future, remarking, Kate and William, they're not that young. If you remove them from the equation, you've got a bunch of old people left, haven't you? Who are the most senior royals, who are going to be the ones out on engagement. And if you want a slimmed-down monarchy, that leads to modernity. No offence. Having all these older members of the royal family isn't necessarily the way to do that. Palace Intrigue will be right back. Since their departure as active members of the royal family in 2020, Harry and Meghan have ventured into Hollywood. Entertainment specialist Mark Boardman commented on their progression, noting that their integration into the A-list has been slower than anticipated. However, he suggests that a prime opportunity lies ahead for them to invigorate their brand. Boardman explained, attending the Oscars could be a make-or-break moment for them. The Oscars is the biggest showbiz night of the year, and whilst this year's nominations have been criticised, the ceremony remains a cultural touchstone, sparking conversations, influencing trends, and showcasing the incredible talent and creativity that cinema offers. And everyone who's anyone will be there. The 96th Academy Awards are scheduled for March 10th in Los Angeles. And there you have it. If you'd like to email us, our address is thepalaceintrigue@gmail.com. Please follow us on Spotify, Apple, or your app of choice. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. I'm Mark Francis. My thanks to John McDermott. This is Palace Intrigue. Good times.